Welcome back, guys, to another Disney Pixar Connection Easter egg video. We are covering Monsters, Inc. today. I know it's now November officially, but I'm still catching up on our October because I went MIA, and I'm so sorry about that. But I got you. I got you, guys. I got you. Okay, so we just went through Monsters. We went through Monsters at Work a little while ago. You guys can go check that out. Now, we're going to the OG video. I just want to say before I get into the Easter eggs, at the very end, please stay tuned because I have some thoughts watching back on this. And I want to make some notes. I'm going to say notes about the Pixar theory. Now, I did do a video on that. That was strictly from Jon Negroni's point of view. I didn't really give too many of my thoughts, but now that I've watched this back, I really need to. I need to talk about this before it loses my mind because I'm going to go crazy. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll see you guys at the very end of this video. So, yeah. Monsters, Inc. Now, if you notice, there's Humpty Dumpty. There's also a plane. Disney loved planes. You'll also see train in this kid's bedroom, as well as some other pictures. But if you notice, this monster who's training was featured a lot on Monsters at Work. Now, Monsters at Work is a short series that came out on Disney Plus, and he was one of the stars. But I just thought it was funny. You can see a lot of the monsters also have hidden Mickeys within their eyes. I did mention that in Monsters at Work. It's very common. This is Mike's new car, which there was a short film released just about that. You'll also see that a lot of the newspapers and magazines reflect human, real-life newsletters. There are also quite a number of monsters that have hidden Mickeys on their patterns, as you can see in this picture as well. Sully has one on his shoulder. You can also see fruits commonly make hidden Mickeys. And here's another picture of eyes that form hidden Mickey. Here's the map. I want to take note because I will talk about this at the very end. And you'll see some of the same characters are often, you'll see them throughout Monsters at Work. Here's another example of a magazine where it is based off a human magazine called The Globe. You'll see, here is another map, but you'll see that that line is only hitting the Eastern Standard Time, which is actually my time zone. I want to make note because at the very end, I will explain why this is significant. Now here in the next two pictures, we have Randall changing his skin color. You'll see the Toy Story. And I want to make note that this is important because this kind of proves that Randall was not only Boo's monster, but he was also Andy's monster. Another monster with hidden Mickey eyes, of course. And then we have the board where Ward and Ramft are both, I should say, animators who were featured on the scoreboard. Here we have a 2319. All right, guys, if you didn't catch that, as Disney fans, we always do code 2319. We have fun with it. But there is an Easter egg behind it, supposedly. It could be. It's not a definite. Nobody has confirmed this one yet. But it is possible. 23 is the 20 references the W as in white. And then 19 is the 19th alphabet letter, which is S. So WS, which is white sock. Kind of funny. So here CDA is a play off CIA, which is an agency. And here behind the octopus, you can see Nemo, which will come back later in the film. I'm sorry this is a terrible picture, but as you can see, Mike is surrounded by Chinese takeout boxes. That does come into play because Chinese takeout boxes are actually seen in other films like Ratatouille, Inside Out, and The Incredibles, as well as A Bug's Life. Now, this scene is significant because this is when Sully and Mike realize that they have been lied to their entire life. Supposedly, and we find out in the previous movie, Monsters University, that monsters have been told their entire lives that humans were toxic. They will kill you, just touching them. However, and that's why they use screams, right? They don't want to be touched. They use their screams, their emotional power. That's significant because they learn that her laughter is actually far more powerful than her screams and her sadness. So that really does come into play, and they start to question things. Now, you may not have caught this. It took me quite a few minutes to comprehend. I had to pause it for there. Mike is actually talking about several different monsters besides Abominable Snowman who were exiled. And we know this, well, later in the film, they meet Abominable himself, but we hear Loch Ness Monster, we hear Nessie, we hear Bigfoot and Abominable. So we do know that there are monsters roaming the human earth, the human timeline. And I want to make note of this because there are other short films and feature films that have these characters in them. Now, this photo and several in the future of this video, you will see that the doors do lead to all over the world, which we already know, but it really signifies that that does happen. So just making note of that. Now, this scene had me thinking about the Pixar theory timeline because in WALL-E, we see that he creates these box-like of garbage and then he stacks them, right? And so we can see that that's happening in Monsters, Inc. And yeah, it kind of happens in our reality, right? A little bit. But is Monsters, Inc. before or after WALL-E? Now, I do expand on where I think Monsters, Inc. is in the Pixar theory realm at the very end. So please, if you're interested in that, stay tuned. In this sequence, we know that Waternoose and Randall are working close together. They decide to banish them into the human realm, and they end up by the Abominable Snowman, which they already knew that this guy was banished. I want to make a note on this picture that Mount Everest is pointed out here. So Mount Everest is a ride in Walt Disney World, and Abominable is on that ride. I also want to make note that John Ratzenberger, who plays Abominable, is an Easter egg himself. He is in all Pixar films. I will do a separate video on John Ratzenberger. And here you can see Abominable a little bit better. And then we have the door situation. This whole entire scene, which I did slowly mention that all these doors lead to different places, different kids. That's hundreds of thousands of doors. And as we can see, they lead to the beach and Japan and Paris and so forth. So as we know, these monsters are interacting with almost every single child on Earth. We also know that they do shred doors as kids realize that monsters are either not real or they're not that scary anymore. Now, in this picture, you will note two different Easter eggs. One is the Pizza Planet truck is off to the left, but also this trailer is seen, as I mentioned at the very end, seen in some other videos, in other movies, like A Bug's Life. So big Easter egg, as we know, in the timeline. I didn't catch this from this angle in the beginning, but this room is the practice room for the scarers to work on their roars. If you notice, behind Water News on the right is a poster of the circus. That is meant to be Dumbo. And in the next set of photos, we are in Boo's bedroom, and we can see she has the Pixar ball. She has Jessie doll. She also has Nemo. She has a Nemo doll. And then at the very end, we see Mike is starting up his comedy. And on the poster behind this kid, there are two. There's one of the cow jumping over the moon, which is a reference to the song, but there's also a poster of Tomorrowland, which is a section in Disneyland and Disney World. And then we have, of course, Sully and Mike are back in the news based off of what's happening. The scare floor is now the laugh floor. Still kind of the same idea, except now they're gaining laughter because it creates more energy. And this is where we lead off for Monsters at Work. All right. That was quite some interesting stuff, right? So a few Easter eggs, a lot of hidden Easter eggs, a few hidden Mickeys. Wow, I cannot talk today. Anywho, all right. So my thoughts on how it actually relates to the Pixar theory. Now, according to Jon Negroni, if you watch back on my Pixar theory video, you'll note that this takes place after humans, right? Like, supposedly, according to Jon Negroni, it takes place kind of after humans. However, I don't agree with that. I don't. Looking back, I'm thinking about it, right? My mind is churning. If it took place after humans, how would we be able to see different aspects, right? Now, maybe the doors are a portal. I mean, supposedly, right? We already think that. But I think it takes place in an alternate universe. And I think that because, or like another realm, I should say, not necessarily alternate universe, another realm, and that the doors are portals. Because as we can see in the factory, there is a huge map of not just America, of the world, right? We can see, and if you notice on the scare floor, in the very beginning, they are talking about the Eastern time zone, right? So I'm assuming, based off the way that they were talking about, they have different teams that cover different points of time on the map, right? So they probably hit the East Coast for a few hours, and they hit the next, and it goes around. At least that's what I'm assuming. There were several scare floors. We're only focused on the one where Sully and Mike work. So I'm just saying. Anywho, we also see there are connections to, other films. That's the whole point of the Pixar theory, right? Is Jon Negroni was linking to other films. Now, fun fact, Boo is actually named Mary. Mary was a child of one of the one of the cast members, one of the people that work on set. And Mary was a little girl at the time of this filming, and she would not stay still. She would not. So they literally took the microphone and recorded her going around like she was going crazy. That is literally her voice. I think it's very cute. You can also see in the files, there are files, if you notice, where they have her picture and her name. So it's not, I'm not jumping to conclusions. So I'm just saying it's in there. We also see that Boo, aka Mary, has Nemo, Jessie, and the Pixar ball. I do want to make some other notes that there was a scene, and I did point it out earlier in the video, where one of the doors, when Sully and Randall were fighting, Randall ended up in the trailer. That trailer happens to be seen at the end of A Bug's Life. So there's plenty of links there. As usual, the Pixar main Easter eggs are the Pixar ball, as well as the Pizza Planet truck. However, what a lot of people don't know, and I did not find it in this, if you can, please let me know down below, but according to Pixar animators, the third main... Sorry, guys. The third main Easter egg in all videos is Hank the Septopolis. Now I say sept because Hank from Finding Dory has 7 arms, not 8. And he is found in other movies. I know where he is for sure in some of them, not all of them. So if you find them, please let me know down below. That would be fantastic. Alright, that being said, I hope you guys had so much fun with this. We are going to hit Monsters University next, because I'm catching up. And Disney Plus Day is right around the corner, literally 2 days away. So that plus the book launch, there's a lot of content coming up. So if you haven't subscribed and you want to get Easter egg videos, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to be notified whenever we upload, which will be consistently after this, hit that bell button because you will be getting those notifications. You can also join our newsletter on my website. You can join us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Instagram and TikTok are my accounts. They are public, so you can, comment, all that. You can tag us. But you can join our community group on Facebook as well. I hope to see you all there. We are doing a big giveaway come next week, so stay tuned because I'm super excited. All right, I'll see you very shortly.